Hello everybody, and of course welcome to the ESPL Weekly Series number 4 finals. This one between Mongolz and the Panthers. So, should be a pretty terrific game. I believe my co-caster who's with me, Mito.
Yeah, so excited. This is our week 4 finals, man. And right away, we see some of the most popular heroes in our series as well. Invoker as well as the Nyx Assassin being picked up. Wow, that was such a fast reaction coming out from the Mongolz. Knowing that Invoker doesn't do all that great against the Nyx Assassin. But of course, it all depends on how they play. They both can mana burn each other.
Oh yeah, and of course Invoker just so obscenely versatile in everything that he could ever want to do. You can run him as a weird carry, you go Exhort Wex, you can go, pretty control Quas Exhort, or Quas Wex, and then obviously you can do the kind of pushing, kind of middle of the range Quas Exhort if you want to there. And he's just so versatile in pretty much anything he wants to do. But I was going to say, I'm here with my main man Mito, and I was going to say, if there's one thing that you've been coining this matchup it's man versus the beast, because of course the Mongolz up against the Panthers. We'll see who comes out on top.
Where's Bear Grylls? do you know Bear Grylls?
Of course I know Bear Grylls.
Oh, awesome.
He's not as good as Les Stroud, though, I have to say.
Who's that? Is it Canadian?
It's, I'm pretty sure he's an American dude, but he's like,
American?
He might be Canadian. He's either American or Canadian. At the very least, he's North American, and he's a survivalist, and he's just better than Bear Grylls. That's all.
Awesome. I'll be sure to check it out afterwards.
You should.
Wow, so the picks are just coming out so freaking fast. So now you have a Bane Elemental, and immediately Panthers is like, nope, you're not gonna get the Mirana combo with the Bane, so they pick up the Mirana as well. Now, the Mongolz, they will probably need a lot of detection here and there. Both teams, I'm just foreseeing a bunch of sentries being placed in every single lane. So Panthers, Invoker can definitely go invis with the Ghost Walk, Mirana, Moonlight Shadows, Nyx Assassin, Vendetta, Bane, well, he's not really invisible, but he's a good disabler, and he's a good laner as well. So nonetheless, moving into the ban phase, and Panthers, they remove out the Doom. Ooh, that's very reminiscent. If they actually had the option to grab the Doom, would have been something like that, something that Goblak loves. Grabbing something like Doom, Bane. Speed Gaming has done it before as well, just going for those heroes that all have ultis that go through BKB. Yeah, so moving on into the second pick phase. Nothing's happened so far, but just trying to picture what's really been happening. So Clockwork has been removed, same with the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon is a great counter to Bane Elemental. Whenever he Fiend Scripts someone, you can just disrupt your teammate right away, and that just disjoints the Fiend Script. As well as setting up for the Sunstrike. So Mongolz, they've removed 2 heroes that set up the Sunstrike combo coming out of Invoker, whereas the Panthers, they banned out some, I don't know, pretty curious heroes, but they have done their studies and know that the Mongolz love the Ancient Apparition, and that was their first man. Ooh, now seeing Puck and Nagasaran being picked up.
It seems like both these teams almost picking heroes as bans, you know what I mean? Like Bane is getting picked up because they don't want that Bane Mirana arrow combo, and then as soon as you see a Naga Siren, obviously Puck works really well with her just in general. You do have an Invoker, which, I mean, you probably want to send mid, but I mean, it just seems like a lot of these heroes being picked up just to make sure that the other team doesn't get them. And now Mongolz, did they run that Beastmaster before? Was that them?
Yes, that was the one with the Void and the Ancient Apparition, Nyx Assassin, Global, just coming in and out and blowing everything up. But now they no longer have the Ancient Apparition. Instead, they have a Bane Elemental and Nyx Assassin. But right away, you gotta notice, that's 2 ultimates that go through BKB. And along with the crowd control Puck and a very ganking-oriented Nyx Assassin plus Beastmaster combo. Ooh, I like this lineup a lot. Might be a little lacking in terms of pushing, but they have what it takes to hold on to the towers with the Illusory Orb as well as the Beastmaster Wild Axe and Nyx Assassin Impale plus the Mana Burn. Yeah, it's looking strong. Just wondering what are they going to pick up last. Panthers, But these two lineups, the thing is, you don't really know how they're gonna be playing this.
True, you don't. But in my eyes, for the Panthers, it really does seem like this is a lineup where the Naga Siren going as a carry and trying to bring it into the 30-plus kind of minute area is definitely how you would want to play that. Obviously, Naga Siren, not one of those carries that usually gets BKB. So those big ults that go through BKB, yeah, obviously they're still effective, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. They would have gone through it anyways. And so because of that, you can just tank her up, make her use those illusions. And I'm looking at the Mongolz lineup, and I mean, they don't have a good way to deal with a Radiance Naga at all.
Oh, well, they always have the Nyx Assassin. You can never underestimate the power of a Nyx. But it will be in support Nyx Assassin, seeing as the Mongols already have the core. Either Beastmaster offlane, Puck mid, or vice versa. But so Panthers, knowing the lanes, the kind of lanes they're up against, the only thing they now have to predict is what kind of a carry is the Mongols going to pick up. And whereas they still have the versatility, it can still be a support Naga Siren. You can have, say, a Gyrocopter as a carry, sleep into cooldown. Oh, Templar. So once again, you're going to see aggressive trialing coming out of the Panthers. Whether or not Mongols, they want to face this tri lane, or they're going to dodge, or simply pick up something that can counter this very potent tri lane. I'm not too sure which team was it that loves that Naga Siren plus Mirana plus, what's it, Jakiro tri lane combo, but
that might have been the
we have
Panthers.
a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Oh, we've watched so many good games. It's actually starting to like get in my head a little bit, and I can see
to blend into one nice tournament.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Panthers. Chris, is that tiny picture? Is that who I think it is?
That's Arthas, yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh man, the good old Warcraft 3 days.
Oh yeah, those are the days. You better believe it. And now Jakiro being banned out, and I think that's like a pretty good ban, obviously coming out of the Panthers. They've seen, coming out of the Mongols, they've seen what Mirana, Naga Siren, Jakiro can do with just like the really pretty low cost stuns in Ice Path and Arrow. Arrow is pretty darn low cost along with Ensnare. You can really make that tri lane all that much scarier.
You know what's really awesome though? Like earlier, right? So Mongols, they've clearly done their studies as well, knowing that Panthers, that's what they love in the tri lane. And earlier, I don't know if you realize, Paxa, who's doing the draft for the Mongols, actually won a tournament item for our very own ESPL series.
Oh, really?
Yes. So he was definitely watching our games, our cast. So that was... It's something pretty cool. So both teams, they've checked each other out. Oh, and finally we have the Gyrocopter pick.
Boom.
This is big. It completely removes the refraction, but the trialing, right, might run into a very tiny bit of a problem with just the attack range on the gyro as well as the bane. Sure, you have the flat cannon, you can enfeeble. Oh, coming to think about it, it's actually a pretty strong trialing. Panthers, I wonder how they're gonna react to this Gyrocopter pick. Oh, so it's gonna be a Crystal Maiden. That's good. It provides all the mana regen they need and the sustainability for the Naga Siren as well. So I'm desperately hoping it'll be a Naga Siren carry. Because in this sense, once Naga, he doesn't need to do the bottle crowing anymore. Or he doesn't need to go for Soul Ring. He can just go for things like Aquila / drums, and then he will have enough mana to sustain thanks to the Crystal Maiden. But it won't be a very easy game for Naga Siren. A lot of mobility coming out of the Mongols. And Nyx Assassin can jump you at a moment's notice. And it won't be the easiest game for Naga Siren to constantly split push to get into that late game that he really needs.
Most definitely. But let's get into who is playing who. Ooh, a baby Roshan. Not too bad at all. It looks like over on this Mongols team, we've got Nelly playing the Bane, been supporting all day long. Masquerade as that Beastmaster. Sanke gonna be going as the Puck. Storm as the Nyx Assassin. And Paxa gonna be this Gyrocopter. However, on the Panthers, gonna be seeing Senior Hydra taking this Invoker down to the bot lane. We've actually saw, I'm pretty sure this was him another time, even a couple times ago. Yesterday? Oh my god, by yesterday I meant last game. What am I doing? It's been a very early morning morning, folks. Looks like we got TJ going as the TA, and Chris as this Mirana. Kipo going to be the Nag Siren, but supporting, not going to be a carry, it doesn't look like. And with Shiny going as that Crystal Maiden.
Wow. I actually have to give Mongolz a slight upper hand in this trial lane scenario. But it all comes down to the positioning of individual heroes. When you turn on the flat cannon, Crystal Maiden is just gonna have to retreat, starting out with 473 HP and only 1 armor. Kipo might have a better time as a support Aga Siren, starting with 6 armor, 320 movement speed, but this is a trial lane that doesn't offer all that much in terms of level 1 fighting potential. To me, it's a question of whether Mongolz can capitalize on the level 1 superiority that they have over the Panthers trial lane.
And I mean, not only that, I want to mention that this Invoker versus the Beastmaster, this is the exact same lane we saw either last game or a couple games ago. And I mean, it just went so nicely for the Invoker. Near the end, he was the only one who could actually deal with the Void. In the same breath, though, I mean, that alone didn't bring them to victory, but he did very well against a Beastmaster not too long ago, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that again.
Oh yeah, so in terms of laning, I feel like Panthers, they have the upper hand in at least 2 lanes. Not so sure about the trial lane versus trial lane. They have the superior range, but well, Mongolz, they also have a lot of damage. Oh, and that was an instant D ward coming out of the Panthers, so that was a very nice sentry ward.
Oh, now an ensnare onto Paxa. Where's that arrow? It looks like you just couldn't quite find it. And this is the thing, is that if you can't quite make this perfect, now the Rocket Barrage just barely getting off cooldown. Looks like Shiny taking that sleep for himself, and nothing too much going to come of that. If Nyx Assassin had been there, probably would have been the first blood guaranteed, but not quite the case. But yeah, it just seems like both of these tri-lanes up top, incredibly possible of getting that first blood, of just getting a kill. And if one happens to not go the way they were planning, if say they put him to sleep and they can't quite get the kill, then both of these lineups can just turn around any attempt at a kill pretty much during the entire laning phase.
Well, it might even come down to who gets a Ring of Basilius first, so which tri-lane gets a little bit more armor and a little bit more mana regen. But Paxa, level 2, he has the flat cannons, and if he starts using these flat cannons to get on harassment on all 3 of the heroes, Panthers won't have that much of an easy time. And especially because the great thing about playing as a defensive trial lane, first of all, you can pull. And when you pull and the supports decide to rotate off the lane for a smoke gank, it's very, very hard to spot. And look at mid. TJ is just so freaking low. Surprisingly, Puck is doing really, really well up against the TA. Sure, it's still early in the laning phase. Oh, and who is going to get this DD room?
I don't know. Is there an illusory orb? It is coming out. There is a refraction now, but Puck gets there just in time, it looks like, and now he can turn this around. And with this little boar getting here, if he gets even one shot, but the boar instead actually just waiting in the wings, not too sure what was going on there, throws out the illusory orb. He still does have one more stack in refraction. It's going to be up shortly. Doesn't have the mana for it, but Puck at least able to bully him out of the lane. It looks like he's got to go back and heal, knowing that he's got the extra regen out of that bottle as well, so it's a little bit rough. Dire Courier falls, actually, and the first blood up top goes to the way of the Panthers. Looks like some misplays coming out of the Mongolz there.
Oh, did we miss that? Down at bottom.
Oh,
I guess you missed that as well. I caught that.
I caught the tip end of the gyro falling, but I did not quite expect a Beastmaster to be getting a kill on an Invoker. I'm so sorry, everybody, but a little bit unexpected as that's happening. Looks like Nelly really trying hard to set something up, but now getting ensnared himself right into an arrow, and it looks like that almost is a kill. Mirana right on top of him, will be able to find it, but trading a Crystal Maiden for it. Now Storm, he wants to have at least a little bit more mana. Chris doesn't quite have a leap available, needs to be careful here, but instead is still waiting in the wings. It looks like they want to once again find another kill. Kipo not able to do anything now. Invoker actually answers back, but falls barely to that tower in the bot lane. Now Chris actually getting caught out. So much action all over the place, everybody. Now Rocket Barrage getting within distance, and Chris gonna fall here. Throws the arrow. Unfortunately, doesn't actually land on anyone. And, whew, an action-packed 4 minutes, already at 7 kills, and all over the place too.
Oh, yeah, not to mention, we almost had a solo kill at mid as well. Puck and TA, unexpected turn of events. Wasn't expecting a Puck being able to contest against Templar at all. But sure, it's true. Puck does have a chance during the first couple of levels before those refraction charges becomes a bit too ridiculous for him to deal with. But man, this aggressive trialing is like so much killing potential on both sides. It's just, it comes down to the individual players and their positioning.
Oh yeah, and now, I mean, Puck, just looking into the mid, he is playing this terrifically. Those refraction charges, he's just making sure to eat them up. Whenever they're down, he throws out an illusory orb to get as much harass as possible. And of course, he's got a regen rune in his bottle, so he's very happy to trade hits pretty much all day long. Now getting a magic stick in his bank as well, has some boots of speed, should be doing okay. Just looks like Paxa and everybody up top, they can actually pull, which is, I mean, really nice for them. And I think that that's going to give them that slight edge they need to maybe eke out this tri-lane that Panthers is running up here.
Oh man, but what's been baffling me is how is his bottom lane constantly like getting solo kill trade-offs, you know? It's like these two heroes, this matchup just doesn't seem like a very, like, the kind of lineup you expect to see a lot of kills between, say, something obviously like Puck versus Queen of Pain or SF one-on-one, that kind of stuff. But nonetheless,
it looks like they're trying to make something happen up top. Kipo, but an arrow actually flies, lands onto Paxa. No follow-up, however, but that will deter them enough, obviously, to get off of Kipo's back. But yeah, like you were saying, I mean, you just don't expect a Beastmaster to kill an Invoker. Maybe an Invoker able to kill him just out of, you know, maybe some nice luck there or some bad positioning. And now it looks like TA trying to go right onto the Puck, but with a nice little phase shift and illusory orbing right out of there, he's going to be doing fine for himself. Actually suffering pretty much no damage from that TA right there. Now it looks like Kipo setting something up onto Paxa. Where is that arrow? Flies, does indeed land. Ooh, a nice sleep in the last second. He still got off a rocket barrage. Could not quite trade just yet, but Kipo actually doing a little bit of miss running through those trees. Nelly really wants this kill. In runs the Puck, trying to see if he can't get anything going on. Actually uses his ult onto this Shiny. Not too sure if that was the best one, because Invoker has joined the party as well. Arrow flies, lands on the Bane, and Shiny now eating all these trees, making sure that these two heroes coming out of Mongolz really has to dive deep, and because of that, they're going to be giving up their lives as well. Storm now needs to be careful. Doesn't have Spike Carapace, but Paxa has gotten back into the mix. Storm in a heap of trouble. Is able to stun the Invoker, but it's not quite enough. Paxa really wants to do something here, but with nobody here to help him, he can't do much. And Masquerade decides not to really join the fight. Doesn't have the mana to do anything, but that going, I want to say, in favor of Panthers. If we look at the goal graph, indeed it does look that way. They get 4 kills to the 2 kills of Mongolz, and because of that, that experience graph is just spiking for them.
Oh, but don't underestimate the power of a Beastmaster. This Ancient is being stacked up, and he hasn't even joined the fights because he doesn't have the mana, and now he's TPing mid. Oh, this is gonna be big if he can get the roll onto TJ before he turns on the refraction. Yeah.
Too bad. So like sad though. Not gonna be able to happen because of this one specific ward that they've placed down. Gives vision, of course, pretty much all the way to the dire tier 1 in the mid, and that's just some nice vision right there. Obviously made sure that Masquerade was seen, and that TA basically just gets to be safe all day long.
Whoa. So finally, I think we can catch our breaths. The amount of action that's been going on. 8 minutes, and we have 13 kills. Oh, and Kipo is finding some much needed farm for himself.
Took a sip of some water, really nice. Oh, that felt good.
Oh yeah, and this Ancient is continuing to be stacked up. Oh.
Now it looks like we actually have a race to this rune. If an illusory orb goes down, really needs to be careful here, and obviously decides to get out of there. Doesn't want to be cold snapped, and of course, just absolutely murdered. However, though, Chris, your kind of carry Mirana, it looks like, having a bit of a harder time in the top lane with none of those supports there to help him. Looks like Bane has just been hanging around in the mid to try and make sure that Sanke gets farm and gets that Blink Dagger up and running. But yeah, it just looks like Chris kind of petering out in the top lane without anybody to babysit him.
Well, I mean, sure, he only has 13 last hits, but he does have 1 kill and 5 assists in his name, so it's not doing too bad. I mean, look at let's make a quick comparison. Gyro still doesn't have his face boots, but Mirana already has face boots and a magic stick on top. Oh, okay, fine. Gyro has a magic wand. This is they're about even, I would say. But Oh, okay, so Kipo is starting to scout out the stack.
Looks like Kipo does find Masquerade. Obviously not going to be able to kill him, but he is going to be able to interrupt this stack really nicely. And of course, with Senior Hydra just hanging out here, right next to it, getting as much experience as he possibly can, and if Kipo wants to just sit here as well, I mean, they can really stop this Beastmaster from fully exploiting that stack.
And this might have been a little bit of a blunder. You shouldn't surge the courier when it's coming out. Oh,
as that's happening though, Puck getting engaged upon and is able to illusory orb out of there just in time. Would like to see some Sunstrikes, of course, but this Senior Hydra going for the full Quas Wex. It doesn't even have a single point in Exhort yet. Doesn't feel like Deafening Blast is probably too important at the moment.
No, you don't need it. As of now, he just wants to get more levels into the Wex to have more movement speed, attack speed, as well as that immense like movement speed from when you're in Ghost Walk, as well as just getting more mana burn. And yeah, so it's pretty good. He is carrying a TP scroll, so he can go to top at a moment's notice.
Looks like Nelly and Storm, though, they have found a TJ. They want to take care of these refraction charges before Vendetta is popped, but of course, even with the double damage, you can't do too much against a TA once he's got refraction. As that's happening, it looks like Masquerade and Sonke finding a kill for themselves on the Invoker, maybe overstaying their welcome a bit. Masquerade now in a little bit of trouble. Crystal Maiden, not too much, can't do too much to himself, but of course Puck finally does get in here. Kipo, having to use that wand to heal up, actually does barely survive through most of it, but will fall eventually. Storm is here, doesn't have too much that he can actually add in, and it looks like Puck having a pretty alright time for himself here. The only one still living, TJ, now running in a little bit of TP support in from the Mirana, or at the very least, baiting that one out. And it looks like Sonke still wants to go right for the throat. They still have 3 on 2 here. It is a TA and an Invoker. Both of those very nice core heroes. Nice Tornado to stop that Fiend's Grip. That would have been pretty much a guaranteed kill. And now Puck's stuck. Ooh, gonna get his mana burnt. Can't quite get out of there in time. Now Nelly and Storm running for the hills. Storm wants to get a spiked Carapace and TP going, and it looks like he just might be able to. There is no Cold Snap or Invoke available. Storm, why have you not actually TP'd out of there? Just waiting around for far too long. Now Nelly looks like he's still running, and Beastmaster just cannot quite get there in time to save his friend. But I mean, that looked like a very preventable death coming out of Nyx Assassin there.
I don't know. I guess he felt like, dude, I'm dead, so might as well just save the TP for when he respawns, because he does respawn pretty fast. And when he comes out, he can go on Vendetta mode again and find another pickoff, which isn't that bad, really. So, see, right now he can go top and help the gyro, maybe even potentially solo killing.
Looks like Puck getting engaged upon in the mid, but actually going deep into enemy territory just to make sure that that Dream Coil actually does proc. He's getting very, very low, has an illusory orb and a phase shift, picks up the invis, but eats one big arrow, and Chris right on top of that. Some beautiful map awareness out of him to make sure that that Puck does not get away scot-free.
Oh man, that invis is just such a bait. Oh, okay, so now the Ancients are being taken, so Beastmaster, 12 minutes and 30 seconds in, he's got his level 1 Necro Books, and this is brilliant against the Templar Assassin. With the Boar, your Necro units, it's just gonna proc the refraction charges so quick that you'll not even feel it. And as well as you can use the Necro Books to de-ward all of the traps on the map, as well as all the wards being placed as well, so it's brilliant. I love Necro Books on Beastmaster. It's just a lot of micro that you have to deal with. And I'm sure these guys, like, as skilled as they are, will be able to execute brilliantly.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping to see just, you know, what is it, gonna be 4 summons and all of them split up and do a kind of starburst formation like from Ender's Game? That's what I want to see. Looks like there might be an engagement up top. Invis, Moonlight Shadow going up, and Paxa in a horrible position will be fallen here. And that is an easy kill for him, and I mean, a little bit odd that you'd think maybe no Sentry Ward protecting your diehard carry right now. Suppose they have bigger fish to fry, but I mean, not really, it seems.
Yeah, because they're warding, they're spread out all the way across the river. Way too much action. It's really hard to say, hey, we need to put all the emphasis on the gyrocopter, because they're constantly putting pressure on other places across the map.
Now it looks like double ganks going down into the mid. Of course, Puck getting engaged upon. There's the EMP, and he actually does get out of there, illusory orbing, but of course Nelly and Storm are here. Storm just trying to get right onto that Crystal Maiden. Can't quite kill him in time, and now looks like they're what was I gonna say? Their damage being dispersed against too many targets. Not the best targeting in the world, and now Puck does just barely find Crystal Maiden in the last seconds, but really there, I mean, if they had just targeted Crystal Maiden, got her down before anything else happened, and then continued on their way, that might have gone a little bit better for them, because right now, Panthers coming out ahead from that engagement.
Oh yeah, and this is potentially gonna be a tier 1. Puck is back in the fray, but yeah, Panthers are just gonna retreat out, and the tower's still not within deny range. So yeah, pretty successful defense, even though they gave away 2 supports in 2-for-1 trade, but they were the ones who were being jumped on. So what they need to do is stop stacking up, but this time no longer for the Beastmaster. They need to get the Gyro a lot more farm. The Gyro is too afraid to even go to a lane by himself now. He's sticking close to the rest of his teammates, so if he's ever in trouble, they can just come to his assistance.
And I have to say though, it does look like Senior Hyder is playing this Invoker pretty much the same way we saw. I want to say was him playing it before, but don't bite my head off, everybody, if that's not the case. But at least the Invoker we saw earlier in this tournament, you just play him almost like a Nyx assassin. He just ghost walks around everywhere, sometimes with a buddy, and then slows down whoever he finds, instantly EMPs, and then boom, and then it looks like that's exactly what's going to be panning out right now as well. Moonlight Shadow actually being used, and Invoker just waiting there as well. They really do need to start putting a sentry down in this top lane. Bane has 1, Storm with Dust, however, and now it looks like they're trying to do the wrap around. They actually have been revealed, getting maybe a bit too close to that tower and everybody there, but now Storm actually trying to turn this on their head. They do have a sentry here, so they know that he's around here somewhere. Throws the arrow, just barely misses him. They still see him, though. He has no idea where the sentry really is. They finally do find him, and Kipo now putting it down. Storm dead to rights.
Oh, so once again, they expend 4 heroes to kill a Nyx Assassin support. But at the same time, they are completely shutting down the Gyro's farm. He's 1 in 3 with only 76 last hits, 16.5 minutes in. He doesn't have any space to go and take the, he's being chased down by Senior Hydra as we speak.
Oh yeah, and now Paxa in a heap of trouble, throws down the call down, not gonna be enough. Huge arrow, he is absolutely gone. Nelly once again in a horrible position. So while that is happening, the Panthers are finding kills. You do have Beastmaster along with that Necronomicon doing as best he can to at least not give anything up for free. You're taking a tier 1 at the very least for losing your tier 1 and a few heroes, but I mean, losing your Gyrocopter this many times, what is he at, kills or deaths wise? Losing your Gyrocopter already 4 times at 17 minutes in, that hurts tremendously.
Especially when you're playing a 4 to protect 1 kind of lineup. You're relying on that Gyrocopter to carry you into the late game. I mean, it can be done. Gyro often has a rough start, but if you can pick up the slack in the mid game, start farming those big items, start utilizing the stacks for him. What they should do is they need to start playing aggressive. The Mongolz, they need to have that level 3 Necrobook on Beastmaster ASAP, which is only 400 gold away, so that's a good thing. Once he has that level 3 Necrobook, yeah, then they can take out all the traps, take out all the wards. Then Panthers will be playing blind, and when that happens, that's the kind of space you create for the Gyrocopter.
Ooh, and they get the deny in the mid. So sorry to interrupt you, but now Masquerade trying to make something happen. TJ right on top of him, however, always does have an ult, has just used it. EMP bow popping, does actually land on Beastmaster. While that's happening, Sonke, though, cleaning up the Invoker into the mid. TJ has actually got in there with a Naga Siren ult being used. So now, can they actually make something happen? Sonke, of course, so difficult to actually deal with. Paxa also quite low, but does have Flat Cannon, and should be able to do quite fine right now. Masquerade, no ult available, does have Whirling Axes. Big arrow flies onto Nelly. Beautiful. While that's happening, it looks like Sonke finding a kill of his own on the Mirana, pops the invisibility, and without any dust or detection going on for TJ, he needs to be getting out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah, that was some nice moves coming out of the Puck. Getting that kill on Mirana is just as big. But Mirana, wow. 2 kills, 2 deaths, and already 11 assists. Yeah, so now finally after that team fight, both teams are retreating back, and this might just be the kind of space that Gyrocopter needs. He's only a recipe away from that BKB, and after that, well, there's the Necro 3 that we've been speaking about, and so the heroes that need to lead the charge for the Mongolz already have all the core items. Beastmaster with the Nec 3, Puck with that Blink Dagger. So now they can start playing really aggressively. Well, not in the sense that you fight a full-on team fight.
Engagement on a puck bot. Oh, all of his mana. It looks like Storm here to try and help his buddy. Gets the stun off. Doesn't have time for the Vendetta to make sure that not one more little hit gets sent to the puck. And of course, no Sunstrike. He's going to be getting home pretty much scot-free. Takes a little bit of damage. And now Storm just massively overstaying his welcome right now. It looks like Invoker really trying to set something up. Arrow flies. Storm, get out of the way. Oh, finally does. Pops the Spike Carapace, though, in prep. Does get a stun on 2. Might still fall here. Does look like he will. Magic Wands, though, and Masquerade now here. Now Chris, who already used that leap, definitely screwed here. The Necronomicon streaming after him. Beautiful blink in by Puck. Only one coil. Not the end of the world. Necronomicon now chasing after TJ. Doesn't have any blink of his own. He does have a BKB, however, and he's trying to run away. And with that, no follow-up coming from Mongolz. So, I mean, yeah, you traded a Nyx Assassin, but you got that Mirana, that Invoker. That is a good trade. And now, once again, it just feels like the Mongolz, though, they really are pretty confident in this Necronomicon in Masquerade and just making sure that they're doing fine on the bot lane. I thought maybe overstaying their welcome. Looks like Kipo might have wanted to set something up, but with no Naga Siren ult, I think maybe a smidge too dangerous for him.
Yeah, now they just need to wait for Beastmaster for his Necrobook and his next Primal role, and the team fight is looking strong. As long as both Puck and the Beastmaster have the ultimates. The only issue is if they engage and Naga Siren's behind with Song of the Siren, he can just bail his whole team out and be like, yeah, we're not going to fight you with the Necrobooks. We're just going to back off for a little bit, wait for it to wear off, and then come back and try to bite you in the butt.
Oh yeah, I mean, now, nice, beautiful little bit of micro out of this Naga Siren. Realizes that, yeah, you know what? They are definitely going to be stacking these Ancients. If not for the Beastmaster, then definitely for the Gyrocopter. And just going in there and making sure that they don't get to do that. I mean, those little tiny plays, especially when your Naga Siren isn't your farming carry and doesn't have Radiance, you need to think of smart little ways that you can make use of those illusions when you're not immediately in a team fight. And I mean, that is a perfect way of doing it. Just blocking every single camp you possibly can with them and denying the other team farm. That's just, you know, very nice, very crisp play. Now we actually have Moonlight Shadow, though. Pretty much guaranteed to be seen, and they know it doesn't matter, though, because Naga Siren's song is being used. Paxa right in the middle of it, gets one call down, immediately melts. Necronomicons, though, right out on it. Looks like Masquerade using his ult right onto TJ. No. Kipo still alive. Looks like we have Coil on 2. Not too sure if it's going to be panning out perfectly for them. Nelly taking quite a bit of damage. Brain Sap just enough to live through it, but now will fall guaranteed. Looks like they are looking for a Crystal Maiden. Storm can't find him. Finally does get a hit. Looks like we had a buyback coming out of Paxa just to get back into the fray. Almost falling immediately. Once again, Arrow Flies isn't quite enough. Senior Hydra, though, he really wants to live for 5 more, 4 more, 3 more. 2 more seconds, 1 more second, and then he can Ghost Walk, not quite in time, barely can't get out of there, and now will indeed fall. Mirana still hiding in the wings, can't really do too much, throws out an arrow, will land on Paxa, does indeed! Oh my god, the luck on this Mirana, absolutely terrific, and finds a kill for his troubles, and now that's actually enough to stop them from wanting to take Roshan. They just don't feel safe there anymore.
There actually is a TA trap watching it out, so it was an arrow that he should have landed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. But I did want to say, though, you see how far Mongolz came out of that fight, right? They destroyed Panthers in that fight. But the interesting was, both the Bane and the Beastmaster, they overlapped the ultimates on the TA. So imagine what would happen if they aimed different targets during that team fight. Yeah, so, I mean, seeing the full potential of what they can do right now. And every time they have these ultis and the Necrobooks, they can just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
And now it looks like we actually have a smoke coming out of the Panthers. And I mean, to me, this feels a little bit like it might have been, excuse me, a little bit of a sneaky Roche, which of course you can take a pretty early Roche with TA in your lineup and meld at level 4. You can take a Roche fairly easily, but instead obviously getting revealed by this ward and the fact that Naga Siren uses those illusions to scout out, just run around and see where everybody is. But yeah, I don't know, not too much coming out of it, and that smoke maybe a little bit wasted, not the end of the world though.
Now I feel like the momentum needs to slow down a bit for both teams. They need to rethink their strategy into the mid game, because we are 24 minutes into the game, and yeah, he's pretty big already with the BKB and Crystallis, and he's leading in terms of net worth. But Puck and Beastmaster are not far behind, and wow, look at it. Puck has a Necro too as well. Oh man, I love these Necrobook strats. Well, at the same time, I hate playing against it, but it's wicked. It's just so cool. And now Beastmaster, he's going backwards, like making a Necrobook 3 first and then going back into the mech. I love this decision though. I don't know if they needed the mech at this point. Sure, it's still good. It gives armor as well as a 250 HP heal, AoE heal, but I felt like you can go for things like Aghanim Scepter or even a Blink Dagger for even more initiation power. They're already winning the fights, coming out on top every time they take them, so well, I guess both of them make sense.
And the smoke goes down, but of course the Panthers, they know exactly about it. Just this creep wave in the mid went all the way back up to the tower, and heroes that were just right there, completely gone then, and because of that, pretty much you just see Senior Hydra running down to the bot lane to farm up. He's into the jungle now as well. TA hugging the tower top despite how far away she was, and they know, or at the very least TJ knows, that he is a prime target for those smoke ganks, just seeing how much damage he can put out in those team fights. And Paxa, I mean, he's very close to finishing off that BKB there. Oh, please go on.
Yeah, I mean, since we have a little time right now, I mean, it'd be good. We can just do a little bit of analyzing, looking at the net worth as well as say the scoreboard, like who gets how many kills, whatnot. How the heroes are doing. So Mirana, wow, that's a lot of assists on a carry Mirana. 13 assists, 3 kill, 3 death. Naga Siren's doing pretty well, but in terms of Mongolz, they're Puck and Beastmaster. Right now, they're holding up what they need to do to help Paxa get what he needs.
Ooh, it looks like we're going to have engagement. Really so sorry to cut you off. Senior Hydra finds him in there. Finds everybody pretty much. Not quite a Beastmaster, and that is not too bad. Throws a huge arrow, lands right onto Nelly. He is pretty much out of this fight, guaranteed. Senior Hydra, though, way too far forward, and of course the Necros revealing everybody a little bit too much for their liking. I thought for sure Nelly was dead. Actually survived way longer than I thought he would. Does finally fall. Crystal Maiden melting as well. Looks like TJ just sticking to Paxa like glue. Can't eat or can't live through it all. This courier so incredibly just, oh, he must be terrified right now running around with that bag in his mouth. Although it looks like now Sanke blocking up Kipo a little bit. Doesn't really matter. Masquerade all over him. Doesn't quite have the means to kill him himself, but so many people just chasing after Kipo. This missile will eventually get to him. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and boom. No chance of this one, and finally does indeed melt.
Well, if he uses Arcane Boots slightly earlier and popped the mirror image, he might have just been able to get out of the rocket. Don't know if I highly doubt he'll live through it, but it would have been cool to see a big play. He did try though. I saw that mirror image being casted, but it was just slightly too late.
And now with Naga Siren
start taking the Roche.
Naga Siren being down, big arrow flies, doesn't really matter, there is no follow-up, just a deterrent, trying to stop this Roche from falling incredibly quickly. And without Naga Siren, I mean, I don't know if they can really contest this. Obviously, you do have an Invoker, Ghost walking around. A big EMP tornado would be absolutely massive. Looks like they're going to be able to find a Storm for their troubles, but that is not quite the same as a Team Wipe and a Roche or what have you. Big arrow flies, actually lands on the Roche to their advantage. Does indeed go to the way of the Dire. Now Nelly in the perfect spot to make sure that TJ does not clean up in this fight. Nice little coil, but only on one, sadly. Senior Hydra now in a heap of trouble. Crystal Maiden all he can do is run away right now. Looks like we got a nice little multi-kill, double kill go in the way of Masquerade there, and I mean, what can Shiny do? He doesn't even have a TP, all he has is a Force Staff, and if he can maybe live through this little bit, he can Tranquil Boots run, and guaranteed, just gonna die here. Maybe he wants to feed himself to the tower, doesn't really matter though. And now, after all of that and everything is said and done, the Roche go in the way of the Mongolz as well. If we look at this gold graph, what used to be a pretty nice lead, not too bad by any means, 3,000 for Panthers, actually even at 3,000 about 16 minutes in, that is not that sizable of a lead. Now ramping all the way down for the Mongolz, and doing very nicely in experience, however, far more telling, sitting at about 10,000 difference in favor of the Mongolz now.
Oh yeah, those Necrobooks. At this stage of the game, they're essentially the equivalent of having an additional hero on your team. Like it's like having multiple Nyx Assassins, so much mana burn. Yeah, I want to point out though, every team fight that I've seen so far, it feels like Masquerade and Nelly, their ultis have always overlapped on the TA. They realize that TA is the key main physical deeps coming out from Panthers, but is it necessary to cast both of the ultis at the same time?
Ooh,
Maybe
blinked by Masquerade
Ooh.
into it, but there is no follow-up. Bane can't quite get there in time for a Fiends, or a Sleep, or an anything. So a little bit unfortunate. It looks like Sanke wants really badly to take out this tower. Got some TP support going, and now he's actually in a little bit of trouble. They get the easy deny.
He's gonna blink.
He should be able to just blink out of this, shift Q it up, and gets out of here. Doesn't actually, though, and immediately melts, and obviously, once you're silenced, there's no chance of a loser orb or phase shifting out of there, so couldn't quite blink away in time. Probably spamming it into the trees. Didn't quite matter, and it looks like Mito actually got knocked from the game. Did you get locked, Mito? Maybe everything. Oh my word. Well, either way, Mito seems to be dead, and I will be taking this over for the meantime. Hopefully he'll be back, but clearly the Mongols pushing on this tier 2 bot tower, doing as best they can to basically knock it down, and with Alacrity on TJ, doesn't have a Deso by any means, but still an obscene amount of damage, at least physical damage, coming out of this Templar Assassin all day long. And now, with that, Pax, I mean, he still has the Aegis, might want to make something happen with that, obviously. The rest of Panthers just hanging out, trying to take this stack, which is meant for the Gyro, and I mean, that's really going to eat into his farm. He does have his BKB, he's getting closer and closer to possibly that Butterfly, which he might be wanting, and he knows that it's here, getting scouted out. However, if there's a Song of the Siren, they need to be very careful. Not quite. Masquerade, though, nice stun on to this Hydra right away. Fiend's Grip, Nelly right in the background, making sure that TJ does not get away. Big tornado on all of them except Paxa, and now running after whoever he can possibly find. Sanke does find the Kipo, guaranteeing him his death, and now I was going to say Shiny now, getting caught out as well. So, I mean, you do get a stack, but you lose everything else. Mirana pushing on this top 3. Pushing on this top tier 2 right now, throwing out an arrow, seeing if he can't maybe find a Sanke. Can't quite do it, and obviously with Masquerade, doesn't quite have the Necro available just yet, and not too sure what those guys are doing, just hanging out right there. But I mean, this is going to be a guaranteed tier 2 for the Mongols here. Well, that's happening. Looks like Sanke has indeed found Chris on the top lane. Mito, are you still here? What was that? Oh, Chris actually pops the BKB. Doesn't have enough mana now, though, to actually get a TP out of there. And probably an unnecessary BKB charge being wasted while that's happening. You do have Naga Siren coming back shortly. Does have a Song of the Siren and will be able to stall this push, but not before this tower actually falls. And with that, the Mongols trying very diligently to continue up this push, but they need to be getting out of here. And it looks like Nelly way too far in the base. Not too sure what they can do. Kipo, though, has popped that Naga Siren song. Masquerade, Necronomicon, not for a little while longer. And Nelly actually just out of range of that to make sure they could guarantee his death. Masquerade does get a stun onto Kipo, but he is not getting out of this one alive. Not at all. They do get a tier 1 for the troubles up top, and they got that tier 3, so not too bad. So, I mean, the Mongols pushing very nicely, getting what they can. And Mito, are you there now? Oh, and you have reconnected.
I have. I'm still in the loading screen, but it feels like I've already missed out so much action. Oh.
You missed out on a bit. Storm is being incredibly ballsy, just hanging out right in the middle of these heroes, trying to make sure that they don't. Actually, Storm almost dying to the Riptide of Naga Siren there, taking quite a bit of damage. Yeah, you just basically missed the Mongols. They took this mid tower. They did nice. You got Sanke picking up an easy kill, all on his lonesome against Kriz, the Mirana, and forcing out a BKB charge on him. Beyond that, I don't think too much happened. I guess Gyrocopter.
No. This is when you start having...
just finished off his Butterfly.
This is when you start having that ridiculous Beastmaster, man. He's gonna start acting like a Furion, except it's even worse. Wherever he goes, he's gonna have a Roar, a Blink Dagger, a Necro 3, and somebody is gonna get hurt real bad. Yep.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
glad
like,
to be back.
yeah, I'm glad you're back. Did you just get disconnected, shot from the game, my friend?
Yeah, like something just happened, and like it was very quick. Well, it's kind of one of those like scary movie moments when the light kind of just flickers, and then like everything just shuts off and turns right back on, and there's like someone standing right behind you. Except there's no one standing behind me. I already checked, so I feel pretty good.
Nice, not too bad.
It is 4 o'clock here.
Oh yeah, in the morning. Pretty darn early for Mito there. And yeah, like you're saying, Masquerade starting to become that kind of, he can just split push all day long. He's actually getting closer to an Ags. He's got that Boots of Travel now as well, and I mean, it's just going to be really obnoxious to actually deal with him. Not to say that Panthers can't. Just throwing down Senior Hydra, having that nice mana burn that he's got available to him, not to mention an Orchid. I mean, that is a hero that can take out Masquerade for sure. It's just difficult to deal with, though. Yes, sir.
And this far into the game, I think it might be a little bit better if we show the net worth to the players.
Oh, yeah, man, my bad.
The last hits. Yeah, because last hits at this point, it doesn't mean as much, because it can be potentially ancient stacks, which are worth a lot more. It can be potentially a lot of hero kills. But now with the Necro books just being a nuisance, they're going to be able to push down this tier 2. It's going to be interesting. Kipo, he's ready to cast Song of the Siren. Oh, just standing in the front lines.
And now Big Tornado waiting for that. They want that EMP to go down at the very least before, and it looks like this storm melting immediately, but now because as soon as they just waited out that BKB charge, focused down that gyro, and guarantee that kill. Nelly now gonna melt as well. Can't do too much of here, although a huge amount of damage being done by just Shiny throwing down that ult. Not too bad for their troubles at all. Mongolz does find a couple kills, gets the TA, gets the Nagasara, not too bad. Masquerade, though, in a heap of trouble himself and will be falling. Looks like Puck wants to continue this fight, now needs to get out of here. Nice little phase shift there. Should be able to blink out whenever he can, and this TP can't quite get out of there fast enough. And like Mito was saying, I'm showing the net worth now. So sorry to everybody who said or was thinking, damn, I should see that net worth. A lot of action going on, and I got a little too swept up in it.
Yeah, and this is the problem that's starting to show. Mongolz, they don't have enough deeps or items on Gyro. Sure, he has a butterfly. Sure, he has a BKB, but because his team, it's a 4 protect 1. And the Beastmaster and Puck have really done their job during the mid game to like keep them inside, help them win the team fights. Now they need the Gyro to step up. But at the same time, every time he pops that BKB, Nagasara is just gonna go for the sleep. And when that happens, he's gonna get bursted down. There's essentially nothing that can keep him alive. One very, very, very extremely corny idea that I believe people were flaming for is like, get a blink dag on Gyro, man. In the middle of a fight, as soon as your whole team is being slept, blink away. Then come back after the song has ended. Or you can just plane up like tank up and go for like Satanic, and then add in some, say, Divine Rapiers. That would be pretty good as well. Yeah, just man fighting the entire team, having nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, it really just seems now like the Mongols, if they want to take an engagement and take a fight, you need to silence Kipo before he can get a Song of the Siren off. And you can't, as a Gyro, you basically need to wait for that Song of the Siren to work, so it's just a little bit of back and forth between Paxa and Kipo going to be going on for, I feel like, the rest of this game. And I suppose if Masquerade can get a nice stun on Kipo and they can focus him down a little bit, and do it that way, they really need to target him first. I know that TA throws out some crazy deeps. Invoker, obviously, a horrible nuisance to have in any team fight, but really, that Song of the Siren is going to make or break the Gyro in every single fight, and for how much damage he can actually do to everyone else, I think it's probably worth just using those ults on that hero.
Yeah, Gyrocopter. He needs to get tankier. There's no other ways around it. Or he just needs to be smart and use his BKB, let's say, directly after Song of the Siren, making sure his team doesn't get engaged upon. It's hard to say who should be initiating on who. They both have comeback mechanics. Beastmaster with the Roar, Puck with his entire combo, Dream Coil, Illusory Orb, Waning Rift, Nyx Assassin, Bane Elemental. Everyone can make very high impact in this game on both teams. So it really comes down to the execution and the positioning of players.
Oh yeah, just who's gonna outplay each other. This is one of those drafts where, like you're saying, either side can take it. Either side can do amazing things with proper play, and I think that's just a really nice thing I have to say to have in a finals game as well. Is that it's just, you know, it's all about who's playing better. And now Sonke, he's actually spent all his money. There's no buyback, obviously, for him anymore. Has picked up a Scythe, and with that, I mean, you get the blink in. Maybe you don't land the Waning Rift onto the Kipo. Maybe you don't land a coil on him either, but you should be able to pig that man right away. And now this is a difficult position to be in. Throws out the Tornado, but hasn't quite yet popped Song of the Siren, and Gyrocopter needs to be aware of that Storm, though. Not too sure what he is doing. Actually, Deafening Blast can't do too much. Sonke way too far forward, not too sure what he's doing. Already getting picked off, so that's 2 for nothing, and now they need to realize that they can't continue fighting this. Masquerade in a heap of trouble. Paxa getting caught out finally, but now will be falling, can't do too much. Masquerade trying very hard to save him. Nelly cannot save his buddy Masquerade, and now a pretty bad Roche attempt coming out of the Mongols. And who has buyback? I can tell you that Puck does not, and actually nobody on the Mongols has it, so this is going to be a free Roche for the Panthers. And not only that, I mean, with 60 seconds still down on pretty much, I should say 50 seconds on the 3 core heroes, this is going to be a lane of racks too.
Oh, it might just be more than a lane of racks. Even Nagasiren, wow, look at Nagasiren's items, man. That's no longer just a pure support. You know, Nagasiren with mech and diffuser blade, and you can look at him. He will be able to solo kill Nelly if he has those illusions.
Oh yeah, Storm gets in here trying to see what he can do, and they actually haven't quite taken this this tower yet. Not too sure why they're spending pretty much any time on Nelly. He is getting a Fiend's Grip down. He's obviously going to sacrifice himself here. An EMP being used, but of course that won't be up once the big heroes come down. Storm is trying to see whatever he can do. He's got a blink. He might be able to get a stun on a few and delay this, and that's indeed what he does. Only gets TJ, however. Can't get any more, and it looks like 1 lane of racks is down, but not too much more coming out of this push, so not the end of the world by any means, but Mongols now, they have a pretty steep hill to climb.
Oh, I mean, Panthers, they can always double back, grab a smoke right back into the base, and get additional pickoffs. If they can pick off 2 heroes, that would be game. But they want to play it safe, just retreat out, knowing that they have essentially 4 carry heroes. I mean, Invoker dealing tons of damage with his sheep. Orchid, TA, always a hard hitter in most of the games. Mirana has decent items as well. And then now Nagasiren, he's starting to get tanky as well.
Oh yeah, and Mirana now just finishing off that MKB, gonna be making Gyro's life just that much harder. He's not even that tanky when it comes right down to it, and having now an MKB also on this TA, she is doing an obscene amount of damage, plus 217, 300 damage a hit, not even including refraction, does about 400 damage a hit, can crit, always guaranteed to hit. It just doesn't look like Gyro will be able to keep up against that, and I mean, Mongols, they're going to need to pull out some amazing team fight combos and pretty much catch the Panthers without any pants on.
Oh, they need... Nice one there. Well, they need so much items. They need like 6 slotted Beastmaster. They need, say, Refresher on Beastmaster, Refresher on Puck, even a Sheepstick on Beastmaster, then they have a good shot. But in terms of Paxa, he's just in so much trouble. This Nagasiren has completely neutered what he can do in team fights. Every time he does a BKB, he's just like, he has to do a 1v5. So he's so far behind in terms of items though. He needs a Satanic, Divine Rapier, and I don't know if 1 Divine's enough. Assault Koreas, I don't know. You never get Assault on Gyro, but I mean, if you have to fight 1 against 5, then those armors really count for something as well. Unless you can burst them down so quick. Yeah, forget about the Assault Koreas. Just go for double Divine Rapiers, if at all possible.
Right?
And
that's your only hope.
This has to be it. He has to go for this big Divine Rapiers.
I mean, there still is that chance, obviously. He is getting a little bit of space to farm, and he does actually have some nice warding here, but I mean, this Paxa, for how far down he is and how little vision they actually really do have. They have a ward here, they have a ward here. 1 smoke, and they could probably take him out, and then, I mean, he does have just enough for buyback, but still, though, you're putting him even farther behind, and it is just getting more and more scary. And it looks like that's exactly what Panthers are trying to set up, but instead they're actually going to go into the mid and, like you said, maybe find a couple pickoffs. It looks like Mongols, though, knows it, and they are literally just standing still. None of them moving at all, and just waiting now.
Well, that's a good move as well. When you see all 5 heroes missing on the enemy map, and the creep wave, well, it's not really being pushed out or anything, but you have to see something coming when you don't see a single hero on the lanes. And at this rate, TA, if he gets lucky, he can potentially kill the Gyrocopter in 2 hits. If he gets 2 crit in a row. As unlikely as that seems, well, I mean, Dota 2 RNG, you should never trust it.
Oh yeah, no, now obviously revealed from that smoke, not the end of the world by any means. Continuing this push up top, seeing what they can do. Arrow flies. Paxa just barely getting out of the way, but doing none too bad. And once again, I mean, they can do the slowest siege in the world if they really want to, and just force out that BKB from Gyro, pop the Naga Siren ult, and then go in from there. But because they really don't need to do too much, and I mean, for two Necros on Mongolz lineup, you'd expect them to be doing some pushes. Nice blink in by Storm, stun on 2, and now a nice big ult onto Kriz. They can't quite finish him off, however, and it looks like they're really trying very, very hard. Both Necros being popped, and now no Gyro anywhere nearby. He's actually way down bot. Now actually TPing in, has his BKB still up and running if he wants to. Now finally uses it, but TA, how much damage are you doing, TJ? No crit quite yet, and now this Gyro still doing a huge amount of work. Masquerade is here, does not quite have another ult available. One big hit onto Paxa, not quite finishing him off at the moment. Now it looks like Storm blinking and seeing whatever he can possibly do. Beastmaster, though, chasing down this Crystal Maiden, doing pretty nice for himself. And actually, it looks like Mongolz have defended this nicely. Now Masquerade, all he needs to do is hide in the trees, see if he can't make anything happen. Gets a nice blink out once again. Kipo in a heap of trouble. Storm finishing him off. Can TJ kill too? Not if he gets stunned like that, he can't. And now TJ in a bit of trouble. Wants to take at least one with him. No crits. Finally, one crit going his way. They do have the Aegis pop now. And now Paxa, he wants to make something happen, but he needs to be very careful here. One stun coming down from Storm, and TJ gonna melt immediately. And just some nice, beautiful defense coming out of the Mongols there. And with that, that gold graph by Panthers up to about 7,500 in favor of them. Experience maybe only 4,000, and it looks like it's going to equalize the experience, I would say. Gotta wait a little while longer for this gold graph, but I wouldn't be surprised if it got it down to maybe 3, even 2,000.
Oh wow, I'm glad Paxa came in the time he did. He didn't get caught in the Naga Siren song right away, and that was just some brilliant defense. Just when I thought it might just be over, but a little too rushed by Panthers. If they had a little bit more patience, waited for the mid creep waves to push in, because they do have the superior creeps down at mid, and then push at the same time, forcing them to split into 2, then that would have been a lot easier. And that's more of a Chinese type of play, a little bit more patient, calculated. But nonetheless, it was very unfortunate and very fortunate for Mongolz that they held off the defense. And now that they have more time and the Gyrocopter didn't die, he's up to 4.7k gold.
Oh, he's getting close, man. He's getting real close.
Yeah,
and
Gyro.
He's got to be going Divine. He has to go Divine right now.
We can go Satanic as well. If you can sustain through that initial sleep, this is one of those moments where you kind of wish you can just turn off a BKB. So 4-second BKB, not so bad. Sure, there's a lot of magical damage coming out, but I don't know. They need him to do the damage, but he also need to be able to survive. Bit of a dilemma. He needs both. And this arrow, oh, barely misses Storm. And it does seem like he's gonna be going for Satanic.
Man!
Yeah, that's a full Satanic. No, but don't worry. If they keep holding it off, the next item is already guaranteed to be a Divine Rapier. There's no other ways around it. Once you see that Satanic being picked up, you're like, alright, you know what Gyro wants, and you know what he's gonna get. And there's no stopping him.
Ooh, a smoke now being used, but I mean, they gotta know this as well. There's no way they're just hiding slightly in base. And not only that, you see this Roche coming in, and if they're at all paying attention, they're gonna notice this Roche is flying, going into the jungle, so all they need to do is avoid the jungle, and Mirana knows it as well. Everybody pinging, and is just running home, and throws out an arrow, sees if they really can't catch somebody out, and they actually does land on Paxa, so they know exactly what's happening now as well.
Oh. So, I mean, it's a premature smoke, to be honest. They needed to push out the mid lane before going for a smoke like that. It's simply too obvious. When the mega creep, well, not really the mega creep, but the bigger creeps, well, it is mega creep. So the mega, whatever. But when those superior creeps are pushing into a tower, and there's no one defending, there's no other ways around it. It's a smoke gank.
Oh yeah, and I mean this late into the game when it's literally 5-man on 5-man, these smoke ganks just seem to become so predictable when you just don't see anybody around for a very long time. Arrow flies, doesn't land obviously, but and it just seems like they just become so predictable for each side. Maybe a little bit less so obviously for the Panthers, considering they have far greater map control at the moment, but I mean, nonetheless, last time we saw them have one, the Mongols knew it was coming a mile away.
Oh yeah, Gyrocopter though, with every passing minute, he's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger. If they can secure the next Roche, and he has enough money to buy a Divine afterwards, that would be the perfect scenario. And it's like
Arrow
the biggest
flies,
hope they
lands
have.
onto Storm. No follow-up, however, doesn't really matter. But yeah, little 345 chunk of his HP gone. Nagasiren has picked up a Heaven's Halberd for her troubles now. Not too bad by any means, and she's actually quite difficult to kill. Lots of armor, 17 plus 5, and now they know the Roche is up. They know that this Roche is definitely warded, or at the very least trapped. And I mean, now just throwing down wayward arrows to see if she can't catch anybody out, and I mean, she's actually catching quite a few people with them.
Oh yeah, this Nagasiren's fat as all. Heaven's Halberd. Oh dear. So once you have the Divine Rapier, right? You need that new BKB. Because there's so much dilemma in this game for the Gyrocopter. If he doesn't get the 10-second BKB, a fresh BKB, then he's gonna eat Heaven's Halberd from the Nagasiren. But if he does get the new BKB, Nagasiren will just sleep. It seems like Nagasiren is the trouble. It's just so much trouble for this Gyrocopter.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it just goes to show you how strong of a hero Nagasiren really is, and she hasn't really transitioned to a semi-carry quite yet. Obviously has a defusal, which is just overall helpful for her in every which way, but I mean, she's still doing exactly what a Nagasiren should do, and actually playing as a support. She's still pushing out and pushing in, I should say, every single lane to make sure that Mongolz never feels safe, that they might need to split up to try and stop these things, and that they can never really be a full 5-man gank squad or anything along those lines. Masquerade is also incredibly rich. Golly.
You know what they need to do?
What's that?
The Mongols? They don't need to smoke up. What they need to do is buy 5-man Boots of Travels and use the Hawk to scout out somebody, like maybe 2 or 3 heroes. 5-man Boots of Travels in with the Beastmaster leading the charge or the Puck, and that can be pretty game breaking. And it is pretty next level as well. Well, if they can actually think of it right now, like Boots of Travels, 5-man. Let's do it. But Bane obviously won't have that money anytime soon. Nyx, he doesn't. Well, you can always disassemble the arcane boots and sell the energy booster. Still gonna be about 200 gold away if he does that. And Gyrocopter still saving up that money for that Divine Rapier. But if this game goes on for another 30 minutes or so, 5-man Boots of Travels. Come on, like it's so next level. We have to see it, you know. 5-man Boots of Travels. You see, like, the Invoker, right? He might be farming ancients like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good time just killing this Mud Golem or like ancient Granite Golem, whatever. And then suddenly, boom, you have 5 people next to you and you're surrounded and you can't even move because they use the M key and then they like surround you. And then you're like, yeah, I give up.
Yeah, they use the M key, they make sure you can't move, they just trap you with a cage of bodies.
Yeah, I mean, they have so many units, right? I mean, there's 2 Necro 3s. A bunch of 4-stab blink daggers and whatnot. So yeah, why not? Why not?
I have to admit, we've mentioned about how Mongols can kind of take back this game, push against the Panthers, see what they can actually do. But we haven't talked too much about what the Panthers can really do to win it that much. I mean, obviously they can go in and push and force things out, find ganks and a pick off and go from there. But I mean, what do you think the Panthers can really do here? I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen more Necro books coming out of them, considering that Gyrocopter, I mean, if he eats a few Necro books, like giant 600 damage hits, that's a pretty big chunk of his life gone.
Well, do you want the ultimate cheese strat? So what they do is 5-man push, right? Boom, as soon as they reach around this area, and then Naga, because the creeps are in the base, right? Naga sleep, and then Naga stays right here, and then the rest of them rush at the tier 4, take him out, TP out. And the next time they do that, it'll be like end game. No joke, no joke. This is actually so cheesy, but it's what people do.
Well, it's kind of what Nagasiren's doing right now. using the sleep to guarantee the Roche, very similar to that, and now the Roche will indeed fall. Masquerade does get there just in time, but can't do too much, doesn't find the Aegis, and now with that death, he obviously has buyback, one of the richest Beastmasters I've ever seen. Paxa, though, right into the thick of things. It looks like this double damage isn't going to be doing too much for them. Nelly trying his very best, but pops his BKB to make sure he survives through that Crystal Maiden ult as well, and they just leave Kipo to his devices. They don't actually find anything. They get they get a gem, but Kipo now just gets a free TP away. Not too sure about that.
Well, so that was a 1-for-1, and they still want to chase down this this Mirana, but it's gonna be a little difficult. Yep, they both TP out to safety. But as I was saying, Panthers, they have so many options. They can push this 5. The best way is to push top. That way, first of all, you shut down the jungle. Mongolz can never go in the jungle.
Oh, Masquerade in the mid, getting caught out, but he is just so tanky. He doesn't even really care there.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Oh, but now he does. Oh, arrow flies, though, does indeed miss. Blinks out of it just in time. No way to follow it up. Has been purged, however, so moving incredibly slow. But now it looks like they turned this gank on their head. Chris still alive. Not quite, though. The Aegis finally does pop. It looks like Senior Hyder, though, running for his very life. Sonke eats a tornado. Needs to get out of here. Does just phase shift. Should be able to blink out of this one scot-free. And now Call Down coming out. Paxa trying his very best to do what damage he can. And now it looks like we have Shiny doing not too badly against that Bane. However, you have Paxa, though, getting caught out. That's a lot of mana being burnt of his. He's actually having a very difficult time just taking down Kipo. Sonke, though, caught out once again. Storm in the back, doing whatever he can against the Invoker. We do indeed have some people buying back now. And Chris now trying to see if he can't find a Storm. Looks like no arrows being used. However, Paxa right in the thick of things once again. Has he just fallen before? And it looks like he did indeed. Does have buyback, so not the end of the world by any means, but still dying, maybe unnecessarily there. It looks like Masquerade and him thinking they can take on the world. So this is going to be a forced buyback out of the Gyro, possibly and most likely the Puck as well, and maybe even the Nyx Assassin if he wants to once he dies.
Oh god. Dude, did you see that Gyrocopter trying to kill the Nagasara and just couldn't do any damage?
Yep.
Oh, this Naga this is trouble when your carry Gyrocopter can't kill the support Naga Siren.
Oh, Kipo, though, not the best use of Song of the Siren now, needs to try and get out of here, does indeed, and it doesn't look like Mongolz really has the ability to chase down any of these heroes. They're all just moving too fast. TA 468, I believe, move speed. Invoker running around like a madman at 514, and I mean, they just can't find any kills now. They do know that Naga Siren ult is down for another 30 or so seconds, but I mean, that is not really enough time to push down and get a lane of racks, I feel.
Oh dear. Gyrocopter moving so far away from that Divine Rapier once again, because he was forced to buy back. This is not the time they should be pushing. But oh wow, if you look at the scoreboard, the kills are just so close. The XP is dead even, but gold, it's, well, 12,000 gold at 55 minutes. Is it really that big? 2,000 gold for each hero?
Experience,
the only thing that matters, is getting Paxa, the big items. If you can get the double divine, then I would say, ooh, Panthers are looking a bit shaky, but right now they're still pretty safe. And once again, they're gonna go for the 5-man smoke gank.
I mean, they know that it's there, though. They pinged it out, it looks like, for sure. Maybe not. That was actually the Panthers pinging, so I'm wrong there. Now, it looks like Mongolz need to be very careful here. Nelly throws down a sentry. Not the best thing you could do. Storm has been found. Is he going to BKB out of this? It's 4 staffs, but doesn't matter. Gets turned into a piggy, is caught out. Looks like we have a coil on 2, but that is not the end of the world. Kipo almost using that Song of the Siren, finally does use it, and so they can focus down Paxa, but of course that BKB does not last that long anymore. TJ melts immediately, and it looks like Mongolz coming out way ahead in this engagement. However, you do lose a Gyrocopter, but you take 4 of them, maybe even a 5. Chris running for his life. It looks like Sonke really on top of him, seeing if he can't finally get him. Is there a TP on Chris? There is indeed, but the stun now, he is dead.
Oh.
Guaranteed to be. Who has buyback on the Radiant? Quite a few. Mirana, TA, and the Naga Siren, so this is not a definite guaranteed racks by any means, but Beastmaster definitely going to be pushing on the tier 3 door on this top lane, with the rest of them pushing down this mid, trying to get that racks and equalize things up a little bit.
Oh wow. Mongols, the defensive plays have been absolutely outstanding. Okay, so they are starting to force the buybacks. That's a good thing. But the biggest problem is the gyrocopter has been dying over and over again. And they need an answer to that. They need to be able to find a way to keep that gyrocopter alive. I don't know. Every fight he just gets shut down, but his teammates are really playing just... I have no words for it.
Well,
you look at the lineups and you just feel like Panthers, the heroes, late game, the damage they do is just overwhelming. But because of the couple of ultis that go through BKB, as well as like the positioning of each hero and that sheep stick, they've continued to hold on. I think holding on is the wrong word. It feels like they've continued to swing the balance of the game. It's going in the ways of Mongolz 1 minute, and it's going in the ways of Panthers, and it's so hard to say who's gonna win this game. I mean, look at the kills, the scoreboard, and even till now, like 1 hour into the game, and it's still pretty close. Only 3 kills difference between the two teams.
oh yeah, I mean, not bad at all. And like you said, the gold graph, obviously, 8,000 gold at an hour in, not telling at all. But I mean, the experience, it was almost at 0 about 4 minutes ago, and now it's only about 4,000 in favor of the Mongols. That is really a clear indication of just how incredibly close this game is right now. Paxa now firing up this bot lane nicely for himself, but I mean, he's level 25. Who isn't level 25? Puck just hits it. I suppose the supports won't be.
Oh yeah, and Gyrocopter has finally caught up in terms of net worth. Currently sitting in 3rd place. TA just leading by about 500. So, oh man, this game is just so close. Everyone, like, they're trying their best to win, but Panthers just can't push Mongols over the edge. And at the same time, Mongols, every time they bounce back, they just don't have what it takes to push all the way into the enemy base.
Oh yeah, this is just such a difficult place to be in.
Now, the key changing thing will be that Divine Rapier and the Gyrocopter, if he can pick up the Aegis. If he gets these two, wow, they're good to go. Especially if, say, the Beastmaster can hold on to the cheese, and should Gyro expend the Aegis, then he can pass him through the cheese, giving him potentially 3 lives. And Paxa, with that, like, late game Gyro, you know how absurdly this hero farms. He already has 411 last hits, not the highest ever, but he has struggled very hard throughout the game, and he's done a good job of just trying to keep up. But
I have to say,
it's
too,
just so mind-boggling.
I'm really enjoying the item choices coming out of, say, Storm. Storm, the Nyx Assassin. He is going full-blown trying to take somebody out of a fight. He says, you know what? He says, you know what? I don't want to deal with Naga Siren ult. He throws down the scepter on her and makes sure that she's just spinning and spinning for a little while there. He can just take a few people out, and with the amount of CC that's available now for the Mongols, I mean, I think that's what's really putting them over the edge in these fights. If Nelly throws down a sleep on somebody, Fiend's Grip's another, and then you have some nice stunts coming out of Storm coupled with an Ul Scepter of Divinity. And not to mention Sheepstick on Puck, it seems very difficult to actually take the fights that you want and really throw out the deeps in a, you know, a structured way.
Come on, I want to see some refreshes.
It looks like Mongols, though.
He's not going for it.
Not quite aware of this Roche fight. Maybe getting a little bit too slow into it. And now, if they want to take this fight, that is not at all what you want to do. Looks like Storm knows it's there, and Kipo once again doing this, catching out almost the entire team. It looks like once again Masquerade going in there. Seeing if he can't do it, has indeed snatched that Aegis, so a very nice thing there. No Naga Siren ult now. He is buying a lot of times. Why are they going that way? It seems a little bit odd. Could have gotten way more kills if they had gone for the actual meat and potatoes of this team. I suppose they do get a Naga Siren, but I mean, big whoop when it comes right down to it. He can't buy back, however, so with that Naga Siren ult down, they can try and go in and push, also knowing that the Aegis is not available for them. Who has the cheese, though? Oh, it's on TA, alright.
Templar, yep. Oh, no, Masquerade in big trouble.
Oh, eats the full range arrow, can't blink out of this one, is a pig, getting those EMP'd. So, I mean, what little advantage you thought that Mongols had, now pretty much stripped away from them in knowing that, that he is caught out. And I mean, Mongolz, you do not want to try and turn around here. You have Panthers right here with Senior Hydra, of course. They have too much CC to deal with. Arrow flies, doesn't quite land on the Paxa, so he's doing okay. He is incredibly close to finishing off that Rapier, however. It doesn't have an Aegis to protect it by any means, but I mean, once he does get that, these things should be pretty scary. But I don't know, when the dust settles, you traded a Naga Siren for a Beastmaster. It seems like a little bit of a misplay from Mongolz to just chase him down with 3, maybe send 1 after him, make sure he can't do anything, but then, you know, hunker down, send everybody else into the Roche Pit and try and take down more than just 1 hero.
Yeah, I mean, without the Aegis, Gyrocopter, he has to save for new BKB as well, otherwise he won't be able to sustain. There's too much lockdown from Panthers. At this rate, he has to just farm, continually farm. He cannot afford Aegis. I mean, he cannot afford the Divine Rapier right now. He has to be patient. Either a new BKB or wait for the next Aegis. And I don't know if TJ is gonna man up and say, oh no, it's only a Scotty. I was hoping TJ would be like, yeah, I'll go for a Divine Rapier as well. But Scotty, a great item. It's gonna be, it goes through BKB, so it's gonna be fairly useful in terms of team fighting. He already has the damage. Now he's gonna have the HP on top. It's gonna be like a 3k plus HP Templar Assassin, so that's always something to look forward to for the Panthers. But now that Beastmaster is gonna have the Assault Cuirass for his team, that's a little bit more armor, so that's good. And Puck, if he gets the Shivas on top, then the team fight would be very, very complete in dealing with what Panther has to offer.
Yeah, I'm just now trying to basically think of what Nelly and Storm can get, because they're basically the only heroes with empty slots available now. And I mean, I think Storm's got the right idea. He's got an Ulz, and I suppose you just try and get a Sheepstick in whatever amount of time you can get him.
Nelly, all he needs is that BKB, to be honest. He just needs to be able to hold down the Fiend's Grip on somebody. But it'd be great if they start getting, say, I don't know, they can head towards Sheepstick. That's always great. At this stage, Necrobook has kind of fallen out, but just thinking. I'm thinking as much as you are, but Nelly, he's not gonna have the chance to get the big items. Maybe just hold out and wait for the Boots of Travels. That would be awesome, like the Boots of Travels and then 5-man. Come on, I just want to see that 5-man epic TP strat that I've been trying to get people to do. Yeah. So I'm glad Paxa is still holding on to his gold. Right time. No, please. No. Oh, is he gonna go for it?
Oh yeah,
no, he's just walking by. Oh, thank God.
He's got some good discipline there, though. A little bit scary for a second there, and it just seems like, what can Panthers do? Now, we've been talking about Mongolz for so long. What do you think Panthers really needs to do to break the high ground? It seems quite difficult for them. They've been having a really hard time dealing with all of it.
They had so many opportunities, but now it's gone to a point where it's much, much harder. Like we said before, they could have just waited for mid to push in.
Divine hits on Gyro.
This is actually a pretty good decision. When the enemy are forcing out another... Oh, that was slightly late fortification. But now that the Gyro's in the fray, oh wow.
No, they're just trying to basically do what you said with the Chinese thing almost. They're making them put a little bit of their attention down on the bot lane, and now it just seems like Mongolz, they're coming out here trying to see what they can do. Big tornado on whoever they can possibly get. Kipo, though, no Song of the Siren being used whatsoever. EMP on a bunch. Nelly pops that Fiend's Grip. It will be decided here, but Paxa doing an obscene amount of damage, absolutely melting the entire team. Shiny doing whatever he can, but TA just cannot deal with it. Chris now, can he find a kill? Can't quite do it. Starstorm does not land how you would want it to, and a full team wipe going the way of the Mongolz. Who has buybacks for the Radiant? Every goddamn one of them. This is not going to be a Rax right now.
Oh, everybody has buyback. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean,
Gyro, what are you doing?
Just forcing out those buy. Oh, no, please don't, Gyro. Oh, is he thinking about backdoor? Please don't do this. This would be a horrible, horrible decision. The Roche, just another 2 minutes. Please wait for the Roche. They need it. And then, if he can... To the point where if he can get the Aegis, he might as well just sell the face boots and go for that second Divine Rapier. And that is going to be the first buyback. I don't know if Paxa is aware that Panthers, they all have buybacks. But his full team is here. This might be the final fight.
At the very least, they will be forcing out those buybacks, and if they just back out of this, that seems like a really good play from them. And yes, indeedy, there it is. And I mean, the gold graph doesn't really show anything at all. Experience, oh my god, still pretty much dead even. Only 2,000 in favor of the Mongolz right now. Who isn't level 5 right now? Let's see. I'm only going to look at the supports. Nyx
Level
Assassin,
25 or level 5?
Level 25, my bad. Nyx Assassin, level 21. Nelly, sitting at 19. Who else do we have here? Crystal Maiden,
Invoker,
sitting at a nice 21. And then we have Kipo at 19 as well. Everybody else should... Oh, Invoker only 22. A little surprising.
Yeah, well, I mean, now that Gyro has Divine, Mr. Hard-hitting Gyrocopter. What Panthers should do is the very cheap strat I said. Push the wave up to here. Hopefully the fight doesn't break out just yet. I mean, usually there's a little more tolerance going to the high ground when the Rax is already completely gone. So if they can sleep right around this area that I'm drawing, and then just go straight for that tier 4, they can break possibly 2 tier 4. And that's why I wanted to see that Divine Rapier on a Templar. They can break those tier 4s and then TP out. And then when they do it again, that would be going for the game.
Oh yeah, I suppose the only way to counter that would be to Gyro try and buy a 10-second BKB and do whatever he can to stop it. But I mean, then once again, your Gyro's, I mean, he's pretty much in danger of getting killed and burst down in his own way for being the only BKB carrier right now. I suppose besides Bane, but...
Not if he has 2 Divine Rapiers. That's a different story.
That is true.
And he has sold his boots for Boots of Travels. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Come on, you wanted that. You wanted that bird strat.
No, I didn't. Well, not on Gyrocopter. I wanted him to pick up the Aegis, sell his boots to buy a new Divine Rapier. That's what I wanted to see. But nonetheless, it's still a good option. Yeah, I mean, now they're just waiting for the next Roche, which will be spawning in about 3 minutes time. And if Mongolz can get this Aegis, they might just have what it takes to finish the game. But on the other hand, Panthers, never count them out. They've had such a big lead since the beginning, and the item progression has been kind of slowed down. Looking at Mirana, just a Manta MKB, had those for quite a while. And Templar with that Scotty, I just don't feel Scotty has been all that efficient on the Templar so far. Instead, if he went for the Divine Rapier, and he might just have the burst to kill the Gyrocopter.
True, and I mean, when you have Gyro and he has Satanic, unless you can burst him down, or basically you need to be able to burst him down, because with this BKB, he is not going to be falling prey to any big lockdown. And I mean, not only that, they have maybe what, a Crystal Maiden, a Deafening Blast. Those would be pretty useful as well. I suppose also you have that Heaven's Halberd, a terrific item against him, and he really does seem to need to wait to use that BKB, or just stand in the back and use Flat Cannon as best as he can to really get as much out of it as humanly possible. And now we got Boots of Travel going on to this Invoker. Would love to see a refresher, but oh well. And Boots of Travel also on Panthers, so I mean, we might be getting close to that that cheesy strat you were mentioning, my friend.
Well, Puck, come on. Puck, Divine Rapier Puck. He's very close. He almost has the money for a Divine Rapier as well, but not trying to be funny, but Puck, he has a lot of option. I would say the best one for him right now perhaps will be that Refresher Orb. Being able to hex up 2 heroes and using 2 Gym Coils as well as like just comboing twice. Sure, the Necrobrooks aren't going to be stacking. Oh, Storm. Barely gets away from that Tornado. But Refresher Orb.
No, Sanke, what are you doing? Alright, Illusory Orb. You better jaunt to that. Alright, woo.
Well, Abyssal Blade. I'm thinking Abyssal Puck. Being able to shut down a hero in BKB form. And Puck is a hero who can close the gap really quick. Oh man, everyone needs to use the toilet.
Well, I'm one of them, I have to say, but of course, we gotta stay here, provide a little bit of talky talk for Talky talk for everybody tuning in.
The more they talk about a toilet, it feels like, oh,
I know.
I need to make a run. But no, I'm gonna stay here because I'm loving this game so much, and I just want to do a little bit more analysis.
Dude, lay it on.
The puck sitting with. Oh, don't say that. Yeah, I don't know why. When you say lay on, it just feels like, oh man, I just need to use the toilet even more. But puck, 6.2k gold. So supports are just so important in these fights from both teams. But eventually, if they can buy more time, Panthers, well, Naga Siren will never get there, but if you can have a 6-slot Naga Siren, would be pretty entertaining as well. Naga Siren, one of the best split pushers in the game. If you can keep up pressures in all 3 lanes, it's not so bad at all. Brian, I'm just thinking about all the possible options and alternatives that Panthers can use right now. Whoa, Invoker has a lot less items than I expected. Ever since he got that Orchid and Hex, his item progression has come to a halt. And yeah, Mirana also isn't that form. But now the choice isn't really in their hands. It feels like every time they want to fight, Mongolz are just able to defend them off. And with every fight, Mongolz are just slowly getting the advantage, getting the upper hand. Yeah, I mean, for the majority portion of the game, Panthers were ahead in terms of kills. Sure, kills don't determine everything about a game, but till now, Mongols are ahead by 8 kills. So the tides have turned, and the good thing is Panther they have taken 1 racks, and the top racks they're exposed as well. So if they can get, say, oh, I don't know, just they like what I find surprising is if they can switch up the items on a TA bit, they going back selling that Scotty, going for the Divine Rapier, and then selling that face boots for, say, a Deso, and then someone else gets an AC. They just need to chip away these Raxes. They just need the tier 4s, and they just need to end the game. After all, Dota is all about taking the throne, you know. If you want to win the game, if that's your goal and purpose, then ultimately it is about taking that throne or life tree, depending on which side you're on. But with that being said, going full in pushing, Panthers, multiple Divine Rapiers, Deso, Kurias, and then sleep the whole Mongolz team, rushing for that throne. I think that is going to be their best bet. Unless they can find pickoffs. If they can pick off the Gyrocopter, that would be huge as well. But at this rate, Mongolz, they're just playing safe, and they're just waiting. Aksa, he has the money for a new BKB. It's just a matter of if he wants to go for it. And now that the new Roshan spawned, this has to be so key for both teams. It's something they have to keep tabs on. They can't afford... Oh wow, I just want to look at the Roche pit. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TP scrolls being dropped on the ground. It just goes to show how many Roshans have been taken. And jeez.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now though, Panthers is split up a little bit. It's not like Mongolz has the lineup to really take care of Roche incredibly quickly, however, and Roshan actually has 16,000 HP. He's doing pretty nicely, and now that they see that Paxa is in there, they want to go in, they want to make something happen. Panthers actually, they going up top, they're doing kind of what you said. It's all about taking the throne. It's not necessarily about taking that Roche fight, and Paxa has to get out of there in time. Immediately pigged, however, and now they aren't even trying to deal with him. They're just trying to go right for those barracks, and they get one at the moment, but looks like TA has already fallen. Invoker as well. They're chasing down Chris. They do see him, of course, and now with that, that's going to be 3 kills, 4 kills for them, and oh man, it looks like they are just free to take the Roche if they want to right now. Who has buyback, of course, on the Radiant? Actually, TA doesn't have it, Mirana doesn't have it either.
Don't go for the Roche, go for the double Divine and try to end the game with 1 mid push. That's what they should really go for. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want to see. Come on, this has to be a death push. With no buyback from TA or Mirana, even though they don't really know, but this is their moment. This is their chance. And Naga Siren barely makes it out of there alive, but he has baited Masquerade and Storm to go that way. But now they will be rotating towards mid. See, like Beastmaster is just like rushing across, and so is the Nyx Assassin. They know this is their moment. Come on.
This is when I wish we could just play music, you know.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Dun, 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 dun. Blink, blink, go, go, go.
Oh, Chariot of Fire, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And then, okay, so Paxa going in, taking that Rax. Don't know why he's really going for that. Could just go straight for the throne. That's in fact what he might want to be doing right now. Double Divine though, sitting hidden pretty for 800 damage. And instead, it looks like they're just not too sure what to do. They go for the Rax instead of straight for these towers. Now, a little bit of indecision, it seems, trying to go around, try and maybe find a kill, and now Paxa can't attack, obviously, with that big deafening blast lasting forever, but they are going right for the throat, and of course, 16 seconds, 15 seconds until the TA is back. Kipo, Song of the Siren, gonna stall this long enough, for sure, but this is going to be really, really close. Fortification is available. BKB on Paxa. They don't have enough burst to take him down, and now with that, it looks like this is going to be thrown. There's the GG coming out, and Mongolz take it to a 75-minute victory.